honestly, I can see this guy being the number one defenseman on a lot of people's lists when it comes to this year's trade deadline frenzy. Are the Avs in on Brandon Carlo? Can they afford him? Can they make it work? Does it make sense? Let's dive into all of it. This might be a little bit of a longer one. It sure seems to me like if the Avs could pull it off, Carlo would do a lot for their defense.
I'll let you
you're the
take
Boston guy.
Yeah, I mean, local boy, right? Colorado kid. I do believe that draft, they missed out on him. Going for something else. He was available, didn't take him. Turned himself into a very good, reliable player. Boston is a mess right now. With Lindholm now being out for the year and McAvoy, who knows what's going to happen there. Can they move on from a guy like Carlo? Maybe and probably. If they're trying to do a retool on the go or whatever you want to call that. Yes, big righty tentacles. This guy's got tentacles. He's like a squid. You know what I mean? Like, and when he's on top of his game, he's got reach, he's got length. He can sweep, things in front of the net. I like him. Not the most physical person in the world, even though he is a big guy. I'm not saying that he's light. I'm saying that, he's not, he's not going to strike fear in you. Like Josh Manson is a lot more physical, than Brandon Carlo. But would that fix a lot of the issues that they have on the right side, and playing behind Kale and Devontae, that would be phenomenal. Like I'm in on it. It's just a matter of, again, what are you paying, to get that? This is, if he's really available, and this is what a lot of teams are going to be looking for, and he could be a very key piece. And look no further than, for example, Colton Parayko. Like at Four Nations and what he's done in St. Louis, That's what I mean by tentacles, like, big righties that, I'm not saying that Brandon Carlo's got the offense, but he certainly has, the size and been in a very good environment in Boston. The pedigree's there, local. Would be a huge get for the Avalanche. That's why he's probably. Did you say he's our number one, right? Number one on
he's our number two.
Number two
of players that might actually be available. He's probably number one.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, with Carlo, the concern I think is that the last couple of years his play has taken a bit of a downturn in his own zone. I would say that that's just true of the Bruins, though.
Yeah.
And you look at, he's been put in tougher defensive situations, and he hasn't always played with the best of Boston's players in those spots. So he's kind of been asked to be on an island at times. But you're talking about a guy that's in the middle of his prime. He's got this season 2 more at $4.1 million. If you were to get that, you're talking about cost efficiency on your second D pairing. The offense isn't going to be there. Let's not get confused here. This is going to be closer to Andrew Peak than it is Josh Manson in terms of puck skills. But you have a. Yeah, it's passable. Like it's fine. It's just not going to wow you. He's probably not one of those guys that's going to fall backwards into a 30-point season, and you go, "Oh, where'd that come from?" It's
It's also not what the Avs defense needs.
It's really not. And what they, I like what you said about. As big as he is, as sturdy as he is, he's not the most physical, like the most naturally physical guy. He reminds me of Jamie Alexiak a little bit in that way, where really good size, but still very good positionally. They're disruptive more than they are punishing to play against. And that, it's still really effective, but the price tag on it for the money is a big part of the appeal here. Him being from Colorado is cool, but ultimately I really like this because I'm the vulture circling the carcass of the Boston Bruins this season. And this is a guy that I think can help. Obviously we have 3 other Bruins on this list, so collectively we have circled. But with Carlo, I just think he checks so many boxes for what he does well and what the Avs need. Good shot blocker, very good on a penalty kill. And that if his penalty kill acumen can take some of the limits, some of the minutes, away from Kyle McCarr on the penalty kill, then this continues. It's an even better acquisition, and the cost shouldn't be crazy outrageous, but it won't be cheap.
Yeah, that my only concern is what does it take to pry a 28-year-old defenseman on a good contract out of Boston?
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm all about it.
Fair enough. Like, hey, you can have a 27-year-old decent defenseman on a nothing contract and Sam Malinsky in return, and we can start the conversation there. That's fine with me. But you also look at one other aspect of Carlo's game that I particularly wanted to touch on as well. The puck skills aren't great, but what he does well through the neutral zone matches up well with what the Avalanche like from their defensemen. Yep. He is good on retrievals. He's good on zone entry denial, and he forces teams to try and dump the puck because they don't do well when they try and carry it in against him. He disrupts that and turns it the other way. That is one of the secret superpowers to the Avalanche over the last few years, is they have defensemen who deny that, and they move the puck in transition, they reload, and they go after him offensively. And the opposing team struggles to keep up with how fast Colorado plays like that. And it starts with defensemen who are good holding the blue line. Carlo has that in the bag and is sneaky good carrying the puck himself. Not like a primary skill or anything, not even a complimentary one. We'll call it a tertiary skill here. But
he's a tertiary guy in carrying the puck if he comes to Colorado. So
yeah, exactly. But you are looking at how would this guy fit as a puzzle piece alongside Sam Girard on that second pairing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it starts to really make a lot more sense when you get deeper into it and you say, hey, if you're Chris McFarland and you're saying, I can go spend a bunch of assets and then pay a bunch of this money for Seth Jones, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's plenty of upside in that, but it's going to be really expensive. A cost-efficient answer that checks a lot of boxes for what you actually need. Brandon Carlo is a really, really solid ad that I don't even think we've heard his name out there. We're just circling Boston knowing that they're going to have to sell off here and trying to find an opportunity.
Look, in this price range, he's maybe the only defenseman on this list that I am comfortable day one being a second pairing defenseman. There are other guys on this list that I would try there, that I could see the upside of it working, but I could drop Brandon Carlo in on the Avs second pairing today and be confident in it.
Yeah.
And
you instantly feel a lot better about
McCarr and Tays, like you're saying, you're on the second.
Yep.
That's such a luxury for a player, because you're not facing the top of the top, but you're still facing good players, not top of the top.
Yep. That's exactly right. So we'll wrap up Carlo there. If he is available, maybe one of the targets the Avs should be honing in on. The top 5 of the trade deadline frenzy for the DNVR Avalanche trade board and trade targets. Ivan Provorov, the top D on our list. While I think there is the most potential here, and a guy that E and I like, but maybe AJ not so much, the reality is probably going to be pretty hard to get him out of Columbus. Sounds like he wants to stay there, wants to be there for both on-ice and off-ice reasons. But if he were to be made available as a rental, he could be a versatile option for the Avs D. E, where do you see it?
Yes. I mean, obviously cup winner, right? And Wash, younger days. Always liked him. He can skate. He pops at you. You don't like his skating? Yes, no.
Did he play in Washington?
Wasn't he in Wash?
Nope.
He was
He's
drafted
been in
by
Philly
Philly
his whole career.
Wow. Take that back. Wow, what is wrong with me? Who am I thinking of? Oh my God, Orlov. Sorry. I don't know why. Right in my head. Sorry, my
Oh,
bad. I'm thinking like Cup winner and Orlov. No, same thing. No, sorry. Yeah, in Philly, the sky was the limit for him when he was young there. Everybody liked him, and he came in early on the scene, right? Um, I do believe that there was some off ice member issues of whatever he said or said something, and I'm trying to remember what it was. It was something controversial, kind of led to his I want out of Philly, and kind of one of the reasons why he ended up in Columbus. Um, I like him. He can skate. He can make plays. He gets involved in the game. But they got something special going on in Columbus. Whether people want to talk about it or not, it's one of their best seasons in a long time, and I think it's a tight knit group with the situation of what happened in right before training camp, and I think that I think some people are really laying some foundation there, from front office to players like him, and it sounds like you just said wants to stay there. I just think he's an Avalanche. He's a fit for an Avalanche, where he can move, he can jump up on the play, he can make that first pass. That's why I like him. He seems to not shy away from, the intensity of games. I feel that he's a good Avalanche for the system that they play. Uh, you know, is it a pipe dream or that it might be as he's we're going down towards our number one on the board, but this is our number one D. Is that something that's really doable? What is the acquisition cost, like we talk about on every other player? What do the Avalanche have to give to make this happen? You know what I mean? And what
That's
makes sense? I don't know. What does Columbus want? Last year we had the old, Bayern Mittelstadt D for a forward. You know what I mean? Again,
yeah.
this is a different situation, but I'm saying Columbus is also, trying to get somewhere right now. And, I don't know. This is where it's so hard to read teams or players. Are they moving on or are they staying or, you know what I mean? And what would it cost for the Avalanche to go and get that? And what is the luxury of, adding him? Obviously going to be playing behind Makar and, Taze, so then where does he fit? Is he a better player than Sammy? Which again, I love Sammy. You know that. Does he play the right side? I don't remember.
he can play the
But
right side. Yeah,
he can. Okay.
but he
Or
has a lot.
Gerard
I had him.
can, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, again, I had him playing in Washington, so in the Stanley Cup team, so he can play anywhere. You know what I mean? So, oh wow, that was a funny one.
I will say, a perfect Av, bad at faceoffs. 0 for 1 in
Okay.
his career. 0 for 1.
Zeros.
The mobility is where I think the easiest selling point is for Provorov.
Yeah.
My biggest problem after that is, what else is he really good at? Because if you were to tell me that he's more Sam Girard than a top pairing guy, I'm here for that. I'm comfortable with that. But he has played well over 20 minutes per night his whole career. His lowest season in terms of time on ice was his rookie year. He played 21:59. Otherwise, he's played a ton. He's accustomed to playing all the time. I don't know why. He's just not good enough for that for me. And I think that the combination of he's going to ask for a lot of money in free agency, and the Columbus is going to ask for a lot in trade cost. And
Yeah.
for to me, I'm looking at it going, he's just Sam Girard. Why would I do that again? Why do I want to? I don't need 2 Sam Girards when I have 1 Sam Girard who's cost efficient. I don't need to pay a bunch of stuff in assets and money to have another one. And that's my rub.
Look, assets and money, I agree. It's just going to be too expensive, especially because, like I said, it sounds like he does not want to leave Columbus anyway. So I that's why I kind of more focus it on Carlo as a guy who might actually be available. But if Provorov was available, one, it's a great fit. Two, if you actually look at his numbers, when you go look at his wowies and things like that, I think people are underrating his defensive ability a little bit. Yes, there are some tough seasons in there, but there are also some pretty good seasons when you're looking relative to the defensive teams that he was playing on. I especially, as AJ said, in Colorado, this is a second pairing guy. He's not playing top pairing minutes in Colorado. So I do think with a little bit more sheltering and things like that, he could make a lot of sense, but realistically, I just don't see how the deal gets done. He's too expensive as is. His next contract will be too expensive, and the assets you have to give up to get him is going to be too expensive.
He's also gotten less physical as his career has gone on.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a pretty downward trajectory in how often he hits people. And this year, 57 games played, he has 16 hits.
Yeah.
Really?
Is this just really what the Avs need, is another guy like this? We talk about them being easy to play against and a little soft, and it's really hard to play against the other team when they have the puck the entire time. A fair enough point, but it just seems like we are trying to make a more well-rounded defense. Ivan Provorov would need to replace Sam Girard, not be an addition to Sam Girard, and that's where this misses the mark for me.
I think the lack of physicality doesn't bother me if the quality defense is there. I think I'm okay with that. I just leaning all the way into the experiment of that defensive style. But
then go get Erik Karlsson as well?
Sure. Why not? Why not? Send it. Let's go.
No.
Either way, I think Provorov moving is a bit of a pipe dream. So we can move on to the rest of our list here. It's all centers from here on out. Let's go see what they got.